Hello guys, welcome to another UFC Fight Night breakdown video. Today we're going to cover UFC Fight Night in Kansas City. Ian Machado Garry going up against the fighting nerd Carlos Prates. This card was supposed to be originally a bout between Jamal Hill and Khalil Roundtree, but that got moved to a different card in the future. But without further ado, let's get straight into the breakdown. And let's start with our first fight of the night, a featherweight bout between Chelsea Chandler and Jocelyn Edwards. We have Chelsea Chandler coming off a loss to Santos where she lost unanimously. She has missed weight a couple times already. She is 6'3" in the UFC, while Jocelyn Edwards 14-6. She definitely has more fight experience, and she's coming off a win to Bidal where she submitted Bidal. Jocelyn Edwards is just big for the division. She's more athletic. She's more of a fighter than Chelsea Chandler. So for my pick, I think I got Jocelyn Edwards here. Sweet. For the next fight, we got another featherweight bout, but this time in the men's division. We got Timmy Kwamba going up against Roberto Romero. Timmy Kwamba is coming off a 2-fight loss streak, both by decision. Pretty sure one was a split and the other one was a unanimous. But I don't think he's UFC worthy yet. Or UFC material, I mean. He did show some good qualities during both of those fights that he lost, but nothing too crazy. Roberto Romero doesn't have the greatest record as well, and he is coming off a loss to David Onama, which is actually fighting later this card. But that fight, he took it on a week short notice, and going up against a tough opponent in David Onama is crazy. And he won the first round. He just kind of lost and started getting taken down in that second and third round, and David Onama, the smart fighter that he was in that fight, he was able to get the edge and steal the second and third round. So that's the only reason why he lost. And now he's coming into this fight with a full training camp. Well, with the full training camp, but his opponent did get changed. Roberto Romero was supposed to fight in the previous pay-per-view, but it got switched to this fight night. But I got Roberto Romero winning here, and I think he's gonna win by KO. He showed some promising striking abilities against David Onama and actually knocked them down in that first round. But yeah, let's move on to our next fight. We got Jacqueline Amorim going up against Poliana Viana. Oh my goodness, dude. They're putting Viana up against Amorim. She's coming off a 3-fight win streak. She's a finishing machine. She's 9-1. Poliana Viana's had a good start to her MMA career, but she's kind of been going downhill. She's coming off a 2-fight loss streak, and she's been finished in both of those two. She did have that cool story where she freaking destroyed a guy trying to break into her house, I believe. I don't know the full story, but I just kind of know like the little details like that. But I haven't seen either of these fighters fight that much, but I think Jacqueline Amorim's gonna win. She's, like I said, a finishing machine, and I'm pretty sure she's gonna get Poliana out before the 3 rounds. But yeah, that's pretty much all I've got to say. Moving on, we got Malcolm Wellmaker going up against Cameron Saaiman. He's coming into his UFC debut undefeated. 2 KO/TKO win streak. Got a KO finish in his Dana White Contender Series appearance. And he's going up against Cameron Saaiman, who's coming off a 2-fight loss streak. One of them was a KO and the other one was a unanimous decision loss. We got 2 young guys fighting here. Cameron Saaiman is one of a few South African fighters. I just feel like Malcolm Wellmaker is going to get this guy out pretty soon. But yeah, I got Wellmaker to win this fight. Pretty sure he's going to bring in some of that momentum from his previous 2 fights with the finishes into this one. And he's going to be able to get Cameron Saaiman out of there. Probably around the 2nd round is my prediction. Cool. For our next fight, we got Damon Blackshear going up against Alatengeli. Bro, Damon Blackshear is coming off a 2-fight win streak, both of them by submission. He's been putting a ground game clinic on people. We got his opponent coming off a win over Rodriguez, where he won by unanimous decision. Damon Blackshear fought not too long ago. He fought Cody Gibson, where he dominated him through the 1st and 2nd round until he eventually found the submission in the 2nd. But yeah, I got Damon Blackshear winning. I'm not sure if this is going to go the distance, but it's either going to be a submission in the early/mid 2nd round, and if he doesn't get it in the 2nd round, it's going to go to decision. And Damon Blackshear is going to get a pretty convincing win here. Sweet. Moving on, we got another bantamweight bout between Chris Gutierrez and John Castaneda. These 2 fighters have been canceled and rescheduled with other people, with each other. These guys were supposed to fight in the 313 fight card where Pereira and Ancalaya fought, but it got moved to Kansas City. We got Chris Gutierrez coming off a win over Lee via unanimous decision, and John Castaneda losing to Daniel Marcos, where he lost unanimously as well. That Daniel Marcos loss isn't too bad because Daniel Marcos has been on a tear and he's been pretty good. And I'm on the fence about this fight, dude. I really like Chris Gutierrez. I like the way he fights, but I think the underdog is going to be able to pull an upset here. And I think John Castaneda is going to win by unanimous decision. But yeah, we got our next fight, Evan Elder versus Gage Young. Evan Elder was supposed to fight another fighter, but that fight got canceled and Gage Young stepped in. He's coming off a win over Grant. And like I said, this is a week short notice fight for him. And Evan Elder is coming off a 2-fight win streak. One of them was by submission and the other one was a unanimous decision win. Evan Elder has looked great in his last 2 fights. And even though his opponent changed, I still think that he's going to be able to beat Gage Young. It's his UFC debut. And like I said over and over, it's a week short notice for him. It's going to be a tough fight for Gage Young. And that's why I think Evan Elder is going to be able to pull off the victory here. Coolio, for the next fight, we got Matt Schnell versus Jimmy Flick. We got 2 older vets going at each other. Matt Schnell's coming off a terrible 3-fight losing streak. Pretty sure one of them was a submission and 2 KO/TKO losses. Jimmy Flick is also coming off a loss to Maniz by unanimous decision. I would not bet on this fight whatsoever. This fight can go honestly either way. Matt Schnell's chin is kind of questionable. Jimmy Flick's kind of got those pillow hands though, but you never know with Matt Schnell. He might get clipped with a random overhand that Jimmy Flick throws that packs a little bit of punch and knock out Matt Schnell out cold. Or Matt Schnell might be able to put a striking clinic on Jimmy Flick and completely outfight him. But for my pick, I think I got, man, dude, I'm going to go with Matt Schnell to win by unanimous decision. But yeah, the next fight, we got Ikram Aliskerov going up against Andre Muniz. Ikram's kind of making his comeback after losing to Robert Whittaker on that short notice fight that he picked up. Props to him for going up against Robert Whittaker. He got knocked out cold. Before that, he was on a 7-fight win streak. He was doing pretty freaking good. His one and other loss was to Khamzat Chimaev on the regional scene, where again, he got KO'd. But that's definitely not a shameful loss, especially right now. That loss has aged well. Look where Khamzat Chimaev is at right now. He's doing pretty good. And then on the other hand, we got Andre Muniz, 24-6, coming off a win over Park by split decision. And man, I think Ikram's gonna be able to knock out Andre Muniz in that first round. Yes, he's coming off a loss. Yes, he hasn't been active for a while. But let's not forget, he was on that 7-win streak. And he's pretty freaking good. Alrighty, cool. For the next fight, we got Randy Brown going up against Nicholas Dalby. Got Randy Brown, 19-6, coming off a loss to Battle, where it was a split decision. Before that, though, he was on a 3-fight win streak. He's going up against Nicholas Dalby, who looks like a teamer version of Rafael Fiziev. He's 23-5-1. He's coming off a loss to Fakardinov, which is not a bad loss, even though it did go to split decision, so he was pretty close. Before that, he was on a 4-fight win streak, which he did pretty good. And his most notable win was probably Gabriel Bonfim, which was his last win where he KO'd him. I haven't really seen either of these fighters fight, to be honest with you. But I think Randy Brown's got this. He's going to be able to win over Nicholas Dalby. This is probably going to be a pretty good fight, and I think it's going to go the distance. But I got Randy Brown winning a unanimous decision win, probably a 29-28. Alrighty, moving on, we got Michel Pereira going against Abus Magomed. Michel is coming off a loss to Anthony Hernandez, where they headlined a fight night, and he got finished on the ground. Before that, he was on an 8-fight win streak, doing pretty freaking amazingly. Abus Magomed is coming off a win over Bruno Ferreira, where he submitted him. Both of these guys don't have the greatest gas tank. This is going to be a pretty fun fight to watch, like the first and probably halfway through the second round. And if it ends up going the distance, it's going to start falling off. But I don't know who to pick, man. I think Michel Pereira is going to be able to knock out Abus Magomedov probably around the end of the first round. If he doesn't get the knockout then, I think it's going to go the distance. And I still think Michel Pereira is going to win by decision. But my main pick is Michel Pereira, knockout, the end of the first round. Alrighty, for the next fight, we got Giga Chikadze going up against David Onama. Giga's coming off a loss to Arnold Allen, where it was a unanimous decision loss. He's 15-4. He's going up against David Onama, 13-2. He's coming off a 3-fight win streak. This guy's pretty dangerous. He's a really good striker, and he does have some ground game as well. But Onama was getting tagged in his previous fight. He even got knocked down in the first round against Roberto Romero, like I said earlier in the video. But yeah, Giga Chikadze's only 2 losses in his last few fights have been to Calvin Kattar and Arnold Allen, which those losses aren't too bad. He beat Alex Caceres, Edson Barbosa, Cub Swanson. He's got some pretty notable names on his resume, and this is going to be the test for David Onama and see if he is up and coming prospect or he's going to get fraud checked by Giga. But I think the prospect is going to be able to overcome this obstacle, and I got David Onama to win. I don't think he's going to be able to KO Giga, and I think it's going to go the distance, and David Onama is going to win 29-28. But yeah, moving on to the co-main event, we got Anthony Smith going up against Zhang Ming Yang. Ah, man, what can I say? Quick shout out to Ivan. I know he's going to be sad about this one, but Anthony Smith's going to get knocked out in the first round. Zhang Ming Yang is too dangerous. He's too good. He's coming off a 11-fight win streak. All freaking finishes, dude. And Anthony Smith, he's already super old. He's coming off a 2-fight loss streak where his previous fight he lost to Dominic Reyes, where he got brutally dominated on the ground. He was just kind of there sitting, taking all the damage. I felt bad for Anthony Smith there, and I know Ivan did as well. And again, Ivan, I'm sorry. I know this is going to hurt you, but Anthony Smith's going to get knocked out again, and he's going to get sent to retirement, bro. But yeah, Zhang Ming, our blockhead fighter, is going to get the win, and he's going to get another notable name on his resume. But yeah, that's all I got to say. Moving on to our main event, we got Ian Machado Garry going up against Carlos Prates. Machado Garry is so freaking good. He's such a smart fighter. He had a super close fight to Shavkat Rakhmonov in his last fight. Before that, he was undefeated, obviously, beating fighters like Michael Page, Jeff Neal, Neil Magny, and those wins are pretty freaking good. Like I said, Ian is a smart fighter. He can strike with you. He can take you to the ground. And on paper, Ian Machado Garry should win this fight, but Carlos Prates is so freaking good. He's got that fighting nerd plot armor. The aura from all the fighting nerds is crazy. He's coming off an 11-fight win streak, with only one of those being unanimous decision. After that, all of those have been finishes by KO/TKO. There we go. I changed it to Prates. My bad. Anyway, Carlos Prates has been on a roll. He's been finishing people left and right. He's looked great in all of his fights. And like I was saying, dude, these fighting nerds got some plot armor because they've been going on a tear, bro. And like I said, on paper, Ian should win this fight. But Carlos Prates, man, I feel like he's going to be able to get out Ian Machado Garry in the third round. He's going to be able to finish him some crazy way. Probably like a knee straight to the face. And probably not knock him out cold, but will send him to the ground. And Carlos Prates is going to finish it with some ground and pound. And he's going to get the stoppage. Or I don't know, man. He's going to hit. I know he's going to hit something crazy and be able to knock out Ian Garry. Just watch. Third round. But yeah, guys, that concludes all my picks and predictions for UFC Fight Night in Kansas City. Sorry, this was kind of a rushed video. I've been kind of busy. Got a new job, so I've been kind of getting accustomed to my new work schedule. But after this week, it should definitely be better. And we'll be more organized and more prepared. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate you guys taking the time and watching our videos. And we will see you guys in the next video, which is most likely going to be our post-fight breakdown video. But you guys have a good rest of your day. Thank you so much. And we'll see you guys in the next one. Adios.